What's the right kind of strength training for triathlon training? Watch this.
Our next caller is Nick from Michigan.
Nick, what's happening? How can we help you?
Hey guys, what's going on? Good to meet you. Thanks for the time.
You got it.
So I had a couple questions, so I'll just get right into it. So I do a lot of triathlon, and I know usually that's kind of a sketchy topic, but I recently got into more of a consistent strength training about a year ago, and the benefits have been huge, right? So now that we're about to kind of wrap up this year, we got one more race in just a few days. I'm looking to kind of switch gears over these cold Michigan winters and ramp up some more strength training. And I'm trying to figure out what the best strategy to do that would be, as far as more strength, like a hit or a cardio or like an abs cardio. I'm also currently right now I'm doing like 2 days a week strength training, along with all the swimming and the biking and the running. Also using MAPS Prime and then OBS abs. So it's kind of where I'm at now, looking at moving forward with some something else.
Okay,
Nick, let's get you map symmetry.
Yeah, actually, before we do that, because I think that would be a great. I think that's actually the perfect program for you. But what is your routine going to look like in the winter with your triathlon training? How much running, swimming, biking you do?
Yeah, so typically, I mean, I it's it comes down quite a bit as far as how much I'll be pool swimming probably once or twice a week just to kind of maintain. Say cycling will really drop off once the snow flies here. I don't do a whole lot of indoor cycling. It's mind-numbingly boring unless you have like one of those super high-tech trainers, which I don't. Running probably 2-3 days a week maybe, but the volume and the distances that I'll be running and intensity will definitely come down just to kind of let my body recover from all that constant.
Let's get more specific, Nick, because I've trained quite a few triathletes.
Yeah, your low level is like, I'm just going to run like 50 miles a week, no big deal.
Okay, yeah. All right, no, that's cool. So, So typically, like this next event is a half iron last year with a full iron. So, as far as like weekly mileage would go, probably 10 to 15 miles a week running. Maybe spend, an hour or two a week in the pool throughout the winter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. So, what I think you should do, MAP symmetry would be good. MAPS anabolic would be fine too. I think you should continue doing 2 days a week of strength training. I don't think you should add more. Yeah. I think you should take that time to allow your body to build, recuperate. Like I said, triathlon training is, it's a lot. You're training 3 disciplines. You have to get very technical with all 3 disciplines, and it's obviously very stamina and endurance focused. Mm-hmm. So it's very, very intensive. The off season needs to be the off season, and you'll actually get better results in season if you treat off season like you're trying to allow your body to rest, repair, and build. And if what you do is scale the triathlon training down, but then ramp the strength training way up, you're not going to really do that. So I think you should keep the strength training twice a week.
Tweening.
I'm glad you did. I
saw a pooty tat.
Yeah. That dates us, by the way. Does anybody know that?
Yes.
Totally. I would.
I think I'm like the same age as you guys.
I was going to say, Nick gets it for sure.
I would keep it twice a week.
But
twice a week.
But symmetry though, right?
Yeah. Symmetry would be good.
Symmetry twice a week.
I love symmetry. And then if you mentioned MAPS anabolic, one thing I would love to see is if you could like replace the trigger sessions with the mobility sessions from performance if possible.
But he's going to get that in symmetry.
Yeah. So continue that on.
I just haven't really got into it yet, so I haven't really looked at it. I have access to it, to anabolic right now.
Okay. Yeah, actually, that's something to bring up. We do highlight the frequency builder type of workouts from each program, from MAPS Performance, MAPS Anabolic, and MAPS Aesthetic. So that's actually something that we included in that program, just so the audience knows deliberately. So it'll show you kind of like our thought process through that.
Before we wrote Map Symmetry, I would say Maps Anabolic would have been a great call for you to go to. So your mindset is right, but I just think Symmetry is even more applicable to you. I just think you're going to get way more benefits. Being a runner, swimmer, the unilateral work and isometric work that's in there, especially you trying to kind of deload and recover. The beginning of that program is mostly isometric, and so that's going to give you that recovery that you need, and then you move into unilateral work, which I think is going to be super beneficial for all the sports that you're doing. So that's the program. And to Sal's point, I would just scale back one of the days. So it comes with 3 days a week, but I would pull back to 2 days a week because of your all the other stuff that you're doing, and allow yourself to recover and resist the temptation to want to do more because you know you can do more. That'll be the challenge for you, is because you're so used to such a high volume of training. Initially, you're going to feel like, oh, this feels like nothing. I mean, even like, and you're way more high volume than my wife is. And when I had her run Symmetry and I've had her run programs like Starter, she's always going like, oh, I could do more. It's like, I know you can do more. It's not about what you can do. It's what you should do. And so, you're going to resist that temptation to want to do more when you know you can.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I totally get that. When I was training for Ironman, it was more about, there was a lot of volume, there was a lot of time spent training, but it was also knowing how to hold back enough to be able to go out and do it tomorrow.
That's right.
And the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So,
all right. And
I think I could manage that.
You had a second part of the question about low hemoglobin?
I did. So, I like to donate blood like twice a year. It was cool. I think it was you guys that heard that the benefits that I get from donating blood, which is pretty cool. But, if you ever go donate blood, you see they track they track all your hemoglobin. And I noticed as I, over the years dialed in my nutrition, got fitter, my hemoglobin levels would go up. And then this last time it actually went down, and I couldn't figure out, looking back, like what happened? What's so different now that I did, if it was, I can't think of anything in my diet or my fitness level that would have changed it. I don't know if you guys have any insight as far as what other factors, other than the obvious ones, maybe even the obvious ones, that could cause that to drop. I'm still kind of in the normal level, but it went from I was at 15.1 and it dropped to 13.1 from the fall to the spring. Now I'm going to be going back, probably donate here in the next few weeks. I'm kind of curious where it's going to be, but I don't know if you guys have any insight on
how long have you been
that at all.
How long have you been donating blood?
About 5 years.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't donate blood once or twice. That'll probably make it go back up. The obvious things need to be checked. So I would check iron. I would look at B vitamin intake or absorption. Blood levels, and then look at your digestion. Make sure you don't have any digestive issues, ulcers, or inflammatory issues, because that can cause some of those issues. But I would donating blood. I think if you skipped a session, you'd probably see it go up.
Get in our forum.
Is the obvious one.
Get in the MP Holistic Health forum.
Yeah. Have you?
I don't have social media at all.
Okay.
Have you gotten your? Good for you, by the way.
Yeah,
have you gotten your iron levels checked?
I have not.
Oh.
I have not. But that'd probably be a good idea. I'm kind of curious what it's going to be this time around, because it had been trending up until last spring. So. And like I said, I got a wife that works she's a scientist at the hospital. I thought, you could just get me a bag of some B positive, but she wasn't on board with that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
grab it from the back.
Go see what your iron levels look like. That'd be the most obvious thing. And then if they are in fact a bit low, eat some liver, some organ meats. I mean, you could supplement with iron too, although that tends to mess with people's digestion. And you can really overdo it that way. But I would go get some blood work done. Make sure it's not a nutrient deficiency. That's usually the first. That's usually what it is. If there is in fact an issue with hemoglobin.
Okay. Yeah. Right on.
You got it, man.
Nick.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for calling in.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.
You got it.
Yeah.
So is it possible that those levels are off because of like the timing of when he gets his blood drawn compared to like his training? Like if he was like one time he gets his blood done and it was like maybe moderate training for him, because he's such an intense high volume trainer and running and stuff like that. Like,
well, training like that should have a positive effect on hemoglobin. Giving blood will lower it. And then I don't know how long it takes to replace it. This is why they say it's a good thing for men to give blood, because we don't have a monthly menstrual cycle like women do. And so if we tend to build up iron stores, sometimes, not tend to, some men will have higher iron stores, or they'll get too much of certain nutrients that they need to kind of get rid of.
This is why they call it Iron Man.
Iron Man. That's good, Justin.
I got it.
That's
now.
great. Yeah.
It's mind blown.
It's exploded.
Just had an epiphany here.
But I mean, nutrient deficiencies are first. Second would be internal bleeding, ulcers or digestive issues. Third would be an issue with your bone marrow, which could be something bad, obviously. Okay, so 6 to 12 weeks it takes to bring back the hemoglobin. So I mean, it could be a thing. So I would get those things checked. For instance, he didn't do his blood work and know what his nutrient levels are. That's probably, if there is an issue, that's probably where it's at.